Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for our webinar, Your 2021 Guide to Fundraising, Strategies for a New Era. Congratulations, we made it to 2021. With all the changes that 2020 brought to the fundraising landscape, a lot of nonprofits are now left wondering, how can they successfully move forward in attracting new donors, boosting engagement, and inspiring giving? Well, today's presentation is going to answer exactly that. We will be exploring how your nonprofit can stay connected, stay relevant, and drive giving in this new era of fundraising through proven online strategies. From leveraging the power of social media and honing your communications to hosting successful virtual events, you'll learn actionable ways to reach new donors and grow your mission no matter what's in store in 2021. Now, before we get started, please know we welcome your participation and are here to answer your questions. So be sure to submit them into the questions box on your GoToWebinar control panel. We have fundraising experts behind the scenes to answer questions during the webinar, and at the end, when we will hold an open Q&A session with our presenters for any additional questions. We hope you are inspired by today's presentation, and as a quick reminder, we will be sending out the recording and the slides to all our registrants afterwards. Now, today's webinar is presented by MobileCause, and MobileCause understands the everyday challenges nonprofits face, constantly confronted with limited resources, yet still expected to expand your impact. You shouldn't have to face these challenges alone, and that's why MobileCause offers more than comprehensive fundraising software. We also provide one-on-one strategy from dedicated fundraising specialists and have the industry's best support team ready to provide assistance 24/7. So it's there when you need it most. At MobileCause, we're just as committed to your cause as you are, and together we can grow your nonprofit like never before. Now, let me introduce you to today's presenters. Kristen Faith is the founder of the Nonprofit Makeover and Six-Figure Nonprofit Masterclass. She helps nonprofits and companies like Sephora engage their community on social change initiatives. Kristen has worked with celebrities like CBS sports analyst James Brown, adult entertainer Christy Mack, Seinfeld's Jason Alexander's, VH1's Black Ink Crew Chicago, Miss America, and rock star Dave Navarro by partnering on social media campaigns and events. With her award-winning nonprofit, BTS ADV, she has helped millions leave abusive relationships and break their silence. She has raised over $1 million for charity online, fundraised over $200K online during the global pandemic, and reached over 232 million supporters online with nothing more than engaging content, a story, and a mission. Now, Sarah Baker is a digital fundraising strategist with MobileCause, where she works one-on-one with nonprofits to maximize their fundraising campaign success. She provides campaign direction and engagement strategy while ensuring the highest communication and brand standards for her clients. Sarah's work has enabled hundreds of MobileCause customers to successfully accelerate and increase their fundraising and engagement efforts. Now, I'm Sky Couchman. I'm the training manager at MobileCause, and our agenda today is full of expert strategies, insider insights, and useful takeaways for your campaign planning. First, we'll hear from Kristen Faith on how nonprofits can stay relevant and connected in 2021 through engaging content, a compelling social media presence, and targeted messaging that brings in new donors. Then Sarah Baker will share the 6 essential virtual strategies to help your nonprofit build community, expand reach, and boost donations throughout 2021, whether virtually, in person, or a hybrid of both. All right, now before we begin discussing your 2021 guide to fundraising strategies for a new era, we do have a quick poll question for everyone. So let me see if we can get this launched here. All right, it usually takes a second or two to launch, so go ahead and read off the questions here. So it is, what is your biggest fundraising challenges for 2021? And asking to check all that apply. We have planning and hosting virtual event fundraising events, maximizing our social media impact, bringing in new donors, communicating with and engaging donors, and inspiring repeat giving. All right, looks like we're getting some responses. All right, looks good. All right, looks like we're slowing down, so I'll go ahead and close the poll. And let's see if I can share these results here. And so, no, nice to see. I've got a good mix of, well, just about everything. Got a bigger one on the bringing new donors. So, it's nice to see that. So, it's nice to see all these challenges that you're facing, and to see, that, good news that, whichever of these topics most concern you, today's webinar is going to provide some useful strategies and ideas to help. So let's see if we can get the slides back here. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So with that, well, join me in welcoming Kristen Faith to start us off by doing a deep dive into staying relevant and connected in 2021. Let me give the control to you, Kristen. All right, you should have control, so over to you. Looks like you're on mute, Kristen. Here, let me see if I can force this here. Okay, try again there.
Perfect. All right, we are in there. Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending today's workshop. I'm super excited to be with all of you and also share as much information that I can possibly give you in the time that I have allotted today. So let's just jump right into it. My name is Kristen Faith. I'm a former nonprofit CEO and the creator of a very successful nonprofit that I actually built on social media. So I'm going to be giving you tips today on how to create some great content, how to engage those donors, and ultimately to share with each of you that each of you are sitting on tons of opportunities to find more donors right at your fingertips. So staying relevant right now in today's weird time that we're living in means that social media is going to be a huge part of how you now reach your clients, your donors, your future volunteers, or future board members. Staying relevant means keeping up with the trends, keeping up with things that are happening in your community, and finding a way on how you can intercede in that to become the expert in the field of whatever your cause is. Staying relevant right now during a pandemic means tapping into social media. It means being original and also staying engaged with people. As we all know it, this pandemic kind of forced us to use social media even more because of the social distancing. So as I go through my section today, feel free to drop questions in the chat. I'd be more than happy to get connected with you. But we're going to jump right into it. And talk about, oops. All right, just give us a second here. It went too far. All right, so today we are going to talk about, as it's getting back to where it needs to go, we're going to be talking about digital fundraising. We're going to talk about how important it is right now, especially because many cities don't have in-person events. I know Colorado Springs just started opening at 50% capacity, and so that's great, but how about those galas, those in-person events that typically hold hundreds of people? Now, the fact about digital fundraising that I'm going to really hone in on in my section is it's important, it's timeless, it's relevant. You have the opportunity to reach donors like never before. There will be donors, even when your community opens, that are still not going to want to attend events. There are still donors online that want to know about your charity that don't know about you. And so, one of the things that you'll find me saying quite a bit in any of my workshops is that grants are competitive and grants are incredibly scarce. What I really love about MobileCause, and they didn't pay me to say this, is that they actually give you access to donors right on your smartphone. And what I thought was cool about that when we use them for my nonprofit was this gave us the opportunity to reach people no matter where they were. If people didn't want to attend events, or people just wanted to contribute, or people wanted to share the opportunity to text to donate, or if we wanted to host a virtual event, we were able to really hone in on digital fundraising before the pandemic happened. So we were bringing in on average about $20,000 a month during the pandemic. And it was really exciting because we didn't have to pay huge overhead to make that happen. Like I said, relying on in-person events and traditional fundraising methods are outdated. Like I said, there will be people who are still going to be terrified about getting into a room with a lot of other people, other donors. And so we have to find a way to tap into those donors and reach them where they are. And so digital fundraising allows you to do that, like the woman in the photo, to do that from your computer or your smartphone. Multiple streams of revenue are key. And so one of the things that I will tell you, just to kind of give you a little bit of a golden nugget, if you will, is having multiple streams of revenue are going to be incredibly clutch right now, especially during the pandemic. And what I mean by that is if you are just focusing on grants, that's one stream of revenue that is not guaranteed. However, when you build great content on social media, you have access to billions of donors right on, online. Multiple streams of revenue could look like virtual benefit concerts. It could look like creating a social enterprise for your organization. It could also look like hosting a virtual run. These are all things that can be done virtually. It could be things that are going to save you money in the long run. And also, I'm all about content. You can recycle these things and invest one time and then ultimately reap the benefits many times over for years to come. That's the beauty of creating timeless content. And speaking about content, it's more important, it's very important right now. Great content allows you to reach people, engage people, and ultimately create a community with people that you might have not met yet. So I'm going to jump into some more great information to really talk about why content is important and how you can use this for your organization right now without having to be a professional graphic designer, without having a lot of capital to get behind these projects, and also without a team. So why does content matter? Well, there's 3.1 billion reasons why. Did you know that there are 3.1 billion subscribers online right now who are looking for content, new trends, new products, the next big thing? But in this case, they are looking for your cause. There are so many people right now who have the time to volunteer, who have the resources to give back, who are pulled to want to make a difference because of the world that we live in. And what is keeping them from donating to your cause is they don't know about you yet. And so, yes, you want to get donors. Yes, you want to, create impact with the resources that you have. But how about creating content and really honing in on strategy in terms of digital fundraising and content creation that ultimately will allow you to reach the masses? We live in an era right now where social media is everywhere. You can't really conduct business anywhere without being on social media, without having an online presence. And so here is the secret. They need to know about you, and we're going to help them find you in just a quick second. So content equals more followers, which equals more donors. This is my type of math right here. So say, for example, I donated to a nonprofit, and I shared this with 700 of my friends on my personal page. Now, when you invest into a grant writer, and I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't use grants, but what I'm going to say is if you're investing into a grant, and let's just say, one foundation is offering 10 grants for $1 million. However, let's just say 500 nonprofits apply for that. Now, what happens to the other organizations who don't win that grant? Now they're going to have to continue applying for funding in hopes that they secure funding for their programs or services or overhead. However, when you really focus in on this type of ideology and how you reach your donors in this digital age, it's game changing. Because like I said, if I donated to a nonprofit, I was so excited. I just donated to my favorite cause. And I have 700 friends on my Facebook, and I'm like, hey guys, I just made a donation. Who wants to match me? You guys should donate too. This organization is making a big impact. You just hit a jackpot of 700 new potential donors. And basically, you're giving your donors a A1 experience. You're giving them the VIP treatment because you're creating an impact, you're giving them great content, you're showcasing the great work that you're doing. And because of that, I'm now inspired as the donor to get more people to donate to the cause. It's the power of crowdfunding. And that's what I really love about MobileCause is that it gives their donors, your community of donors, access to give anywhere at any time. Now you're not just stuck in donating at that one event, at that one time that you went to that one time, and now you have the ability to reach them anywhere at any time. Now, the next thing that I wanted to touch on is how you get started. And so here is a quick tip that I love giving the nonprofits that I work with on how you can get started in building that content, creating that viral content, being a household name, whatever your cause is, this is going to apply to you. So this is where we're going to get started. So first, we want to create a brand identity. So when you're thinking of your nonprofit and showcasing online, this is the foundation of how nonprofits need to build from the ground up. And so if you're just posting content just to post content, I'm sorry to break it to you, you need to have strategy, you need to have great content. There's a science behind it. And so here's a couple quick tips. So creating your brand identity. So let's just say, for example, Target. This is my favorite example because everyone knows that Target is that Target symbol. It's red, it's big, bold font. When you go into Target, their employees are wearing the red shirts with the khaki pants. You know you're at Target. And so basically, when you're creating your brand identity, you want to make sure that if your colors for your logo are black and white, make sure that your content is black and white. Make sure there's a tie into your logo. Make sure you're using your logo. If you don't like your content, if you need a rebrand, let's talk about it. Let's get you on track because this is a key component when you start developing more content. The next step is actually to create the content. And this is more than just posting here and there. This is more than just, okay, I'm just going to share what someone else posted on their page for my post for the day. Because let's just face it, let's go back to Target, for example. When you go to their Facebook page, you're going to notice that they're posting nothing but Target content. You're going to notice that everything, their products, their initiatives, their philanthropy efforts, they're all Target related. They're not necessarily posting Walmart's products or Walmart's sales. They're focusing on their lane and they're focusing on what they do best. And so when you're creating your assets for your social media page, we want to make sure that you are creating as much original content as you all possibly can. I'm thinking photos from your event. I'm thinking graphics, maybe facts about your cause. Maybe your organization has to do with homelessness. I want to see some facts about how homelessness is affecting people during the pandemic. If your cause is education, let's do some videos about videos in the classroom. Let me see what you've done with your programs. Let me hear some testimonials from real people that you've impacted. blogs, no matter what your cause is, this is a great opportunity to, one, get more volunteers to write for your organization because they want to build their portfolio, they want to make a big impact. And so you're going to create a blog for your nonprofit. And let's just say your cause is domestic violence. And basically, you're going to create content that has to do with relationships, with unhealthy relationships, with parenting, with co-parenting. Things that have to do with relationships could be an opportunity for you as the domestic violence nonprofit to get people to your website. Getting people to your website now means, hey, you should donate. Hey, this is how you donate. Hey, this is what we do and how you can get involved. So the beauty of content is it allows you to do so much with different types of content. And so the next step with that is seeking your target audience. So this is a perfect way. This is a great example for this one. If your target audience is teenagers because you're a youth conference, you want to get youth to be a part of your nonprofit, you want them to come to your programs. If that's the case, you need to make sure that you are tapping into them at where they're at. Now, if you're trying to find people to participate in your programs, but you're using LinkedIn or you're using Facebook, I know I'm a millennial, so I understand that these young people who are using like TikTok and Snapchat, they think Facebook is for older people. I get offended. So with that being said, we want to make sure that your target audience is you're on the right platform to see them at. So if you are looking for young people, go on TikTok. If you are looking to get donors and you're looking to, really create a community, I'm all about Facebook. I'm a huge fan of Facebook because it's done wonders for my nonprofit. And the next thing, I'm going to give you another gem for you to write down, take a picture of this. This is how I put together content for my Facebook page. Now, when I was creating content, and keep in mind, eventually it became a whole entire team that ran our social media platforms. And that's a whole nother conversation that we can have separately. If you are doing everything under the sun for your organization, we need to talk. But in the meantime, in between time, here are two methods that I live by when it comes to content creation, when it comes to really engaging people online. The first method is the C method, and I created this to really create a baseline on how content it gets shared, or at least how I evaluate content before it gets shared online. And so I want to know, when I'm posting something, does this content connect? Does it educate, and does it empower? I want to make sure that whatever I'm posting is in alignment with those three buckets, because if it doesn't, should it really be on social media? Could it be on my Insta story or my Facebook story? Could this be an email? Could this just live on the website? Could I have other ways on engaging people that aren't this, but still allowing it to be content? I want to encourage you, whatever content that you are posting on social media right now, use this as your baseline until you find your own baseline. If you are an organization that deals with veterans, this would be a great example. Here's one for you. Is your post connecting other veterans? Is your post educating them about veteran suicide? Is it empowering them to get involved, maybe to be on the board of directors? Maybe it's to get involved as a reoccurring donor. Maybe it's a way for them to help support other veterans. Now, those are 3, 4, 5 different ideas on content that you can use if you are a veterans organization. Now, the boss method. I love this because all of you are bosses. You are here to make an impact. You are here because your organization needs strategies in order to survive during this pandemic. I feel you. I understand. I completely know where you're at and how you are feeling right now. So the boss method, let's go back to Target because I love Target, is branding. Is your branding on point? When people see your logo, are they going to say, oh, that's that organization? We made sure that we created branding colors, a branding guide, a logo that was easily identified to our nonprofit. Now, if you are consistently changing your logo, if you don't love your logo and you don't even use it, if your logo is black and white, but you're using orange and green, that's not really consistent with your brand. So we want to make sure off top that we are solidifying your nonprofit's brand. Second, social media content means you need to over deliver. Are you providing them great content? Another great example is everything that MobileCause puts out is top-notch A1 quality content. From someone who is a professional content creator, I can absolutely say that the content that they share is very consistent. They are delivering great content. They're giving people opportunities to really grow and enhance their nonprofits. And so you want to make sure when you are offering support to your clients that you are going and you are over delivering for them. Three, we want to make sure that you are staying consistent. We want to make sure that you can schedule posts, that you are scheduling posts. And in case you didn't know this, you can schedule Facebook and Instagram posts. And in case you haven't used it, another quick gem, Hootsuite is another great resource to use for scheduling posts. Stay engaged. We want to make sure that if you are posting engaging content, make sure to respond in the comments, engage in conversations, respond in Messenger. If clients, donors, or supporters are reaching out to you and want to know how to get involved or how to get support, make sure you're there. Make sure that you're ready to give them great customer service because nonprofits are a business and it's an opportunity for you to provide excellent service and for you to provide a memorable experience for those you serve. Now, who are your donors? Now, this was a quick template that I put together because not all donors are the same. Not all donors are going to give at the same level. Not everyone is giving on a reoccurring basis. So here's a quick snapshot on different types of donors, and depending on what they are, will help you kind of guide how you're going to approach them, how you're going to interact with them, and ultimately how you're going to secure the ask and ultimately the donation. And so we have the associate, someone who donates because they know your cause. Maybe they were scrolling through social media and they're like, oh, they're having a fundraiser that I can support because I am a veteran and I want to support this organization because I believe in their cause. I'm going to donate to them one time. We have the friend who, went to an event or seen something online, and it's an opportunity for them to give, and they're going to go ahead and give. I'm going to go back to the associate real quick. This is someone who donated because they know someone that donated. So for example, my mom donates to a cause because she knows that I support this cause. All right, now we're going to jump to family. They are invested in the cause because when they saw a need or when you approach them about a need, they're going to be there. They're going to show up because you asked, because they know that, hey, we need 100 bottles of water for our upcoming retreat. I know that I can reach out to them because this is the type of relationship that we have. The advocate, you can count on these people for backing you up anytime on a reoccurring basis. If you haven't set up reoccurring giving, one of my favorites, if not the favorite of all favorites, is MobileCause. This allowed us, when we signed on with MobileCause back in, I believe, 2015, this was our opportunity to actually get donors on a recurring basis. So if someone wanted to donate $25 every month, all they had to do was literally click a button and we received the donations pretty much real time within 24 hours. So these are the people who want to give on a consistent basis, kind of set and forget. These donors want to give, but they don't want too much involvement. They just want to give. And that's great because we support those and we love those types of donors. The philanthropist. So this is the person who has the big bucks. This is the person who wants to sponsor the events, the galas. Maybe they're going to write you a $20,000 check because they love your cause. Maybe you helped them in the past. Maybe they have a family foundation that they give to particular causes like yours. Typically, they're going to give a big amount one time, maybe two times, depending on their funding resources. So the philanthropist. Then we have the corporate giving. They have the social responsibility and the marketing opportunities to support your cause. Maybe they want to give again for a gala because that's the type of initiatives they have. And these type of people are also probably going to donate one time a year. You don't want to burn out any of these donors. If you're constantly asking the philanthropist for a donation every month, they're probably not going to give to you in the future. However, if we have a bunch of advocates who are donating on a recurring basis, we want to get enough donations to sustain your organization on a recurring basis so you don't have to worry about the overhead because those advocates have you covered. Now, how to cultivate donors. This is really important because this really ties into the last slide, because this is where you're going to cultivate the donors. This is where you're going to build those relationships with the philanthropists and the corporate giving, because at the end of the day, no matter what bucket, no matter what type of donors we're trying to get, we want to make sure that we are getting donors who can give at the level that they are ready to and are willing to. So identify the donor, just like we talked about a second ago. Are they advocates? Are they philanthropists? Are they corporate givers? Are they family? Are they friends? And family and friends aren't necessarily like your actual family and friends. That was just the name that I used. And so cultivating donors is like dating. Learn what they like, learn what their cause is, learn how they like to give, learn what inspires them to give. It's all about inspiring people and making them feel like they are a part of your organization. That's really what sets nonprofits apart from others, is are they providing an experience to make people feel like they are a part of their family. Make it easy to give. Now, what's cool about Facebook, and I'm a huge fan of Facebook fundraising because it allows people to donate right on their social media. But are you giving people multiple ways on how to give? Are you talking to them online? You're engaging them in person? Are you engaging them on social media? Are you texting them saying, hey, shoot me a text at, donate to 91999 and you can donate right from your phone? Giving them multiple ways to give is multiple ways that you can tap into securing those donations and getting more people to give to your cause because it is just ready and available for them. Another example, in case you missed it, if I have 785 friends on Facebook and I loved giving to one particular cause and I text this number or I donated on Facebook, and I have 785 friends that now get to see that, boom, I want you to donate also. And that's, let's just say everyone donated $1. That's $785 on one single post that I said, hey, you guys should donate also. Next, we want to make sure that we are connecting and engaging. Perfect example. When you celebrate your birthday with us, we feed 1,400 men and women suffering from homelessness on some of America's most impoverished communities. If you are a organization that deals with homelessness or food scarcity, feel free to use this. You're more than welcome to. But this is the type of language that people want to see online to know that, hey, I want my birthday to be more meaningful, and this is how you can give, and this is why you should give. And so storytelling really plays a huge part in why donors give. So instead of, really inspiring donors at one time at your charity gala that you're used to having, but now it's kind of on pause because everything's kind of weird right now, here's your opportunity to showcase those stories and reach those donors that would have been at your event, but now you're saving thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, not spending money on a in-person gala. Now you're using that to tap into content creation. Now you're using that to tap into those digital fundraising dollars. And also, something that, in case you didn't know, there are 1.5 million nonprofits in the US right now. And one of the things that ties all of this together and why people are going to give to your cause is that you have to figure out, in case if you already have this answer, wonderful, but you have to figure out what makes your nonprofit different from somebody else. Are you filling in the gap? Are you providing services when no one else isn't? Are you providing services that no one else has done before? Are you recreating the wheel, or are you creating the wheel? So all of this allows for opportunities to tell a story, to engage those donors, and to ultimately tap into a whole new market. And like I said, there are billions of reasons why you should be on social media and tapping into those donors, because they're there and they want to meet you and they want to give to your cause. They just don't know about you yet. All worked. So here are some actionable ways to reach new donors online. So number one, We want to make sure that you are creating a community your donors will love. Now, no matter what your cause is, a great way to create a community is one by creating a Facebook page or creating some sort of place where people can gather virtually. This allows your potential donors, maybe potential clients, to engage with your cause on a more intimate level. It's all about relationships. And if we really tap into relationships and really honing in on that and really focusing on building the relationships with current donors and the ones that you want to become donors, this is going to be a great way to inspire donors to give and inspire those donors to get other donors to give. Second, we want to make sure that you are relating and connecting to your audience. As someone who donates to multiple causes throughout the year, I want to see an organization that one can relate to me. Maybe there was a testimonial of someone that reminds me of me. Maybe there's a organization that, deals with food scarcity and, I needed to get food during the pandemic because we were going through hard times, and they told a story about someone who also went through a similar situation. And this organization really appealed to me because it related to me. And so we want to make sure that you are really providing that human to human interaction virtually and in person. And third, we want to make sure that we are appealing to your audience through storytelling, and that's through testimonials, that's through videos, that's through blogs, any way that you can do it. Just think about your personal story. Think about how your life has been over the last however many years, no matter if you're young or old, it doesn't matter. Whatever your story is, you've been through something that could really inspire someone. And as someone who created an organization called Break the Silence Against Domestic Violence, what I did really well was encouraging people to share stories about overcoming abuse, share stories of how they went through abuse, and that inspired other survivors to give. That inspired other people who knew survivors of domestic violence and also knew people who didn't survive that situation. And so that really created a whole different demographic of people to give because we inspired people right where they were. And so when you're creating content, when you are thinking about, okay, well, how do we do this whole social media thing? I want you to make sure that you are tapping into donors that can really relate to your cause. And just real quick, reaching donors in a post, here is a quick example from our Facebook page. I use this as an example because one, it has a photo. Photos are great on social media. As you can see, there are a lot of engagement here as well. And it asks a question. When you ask posts or you ask questions in a post, it allows for an interaction engagement. And when people engage with their social media page, it's going to pop up on their personal page and their followers are going to see it. So question one, what does this social media post, why does it get so much engagement? One, because of the question, because it relates to the people that they are trying to serve. It is really relevant because people who are coming to this page are victims and survivors of domestic violence. So the engagement is there because one, it's relatable. The image, text, and posts all tell a story. So as you can see, this is a domestic violence organization, and it asks a question which most people who are on this page can relate to or know someone that has experienced abuse. And so posts like this tell a story. If you are just asking the question and there is no photo, it's just we're all at a different stage in our journey. Where are you and how do we help you get to the next stage? And it was just text, you're probably not going to get enough engagement because it's not engaging to the eyes, and I'm just going to scroll past it because it doesn't attract my attention. It asks a genuine question where people can engage and get feedback. You can engage with other followers and supporters on this page, and that is really key because you are building the community. It creates an emotional response and it creates a deeper connection to the cause. So again, when you're creating content, make sure that it has to connect, empower, and educate. In this particular post, I would say that it's going to connect, and it's also going to engage and empower people to learn more about domestic violence. All right, so I believe that wraps up my section. Thank you all so much. And if you have any questions or want to get connected, feel free to drop that in the chat and we will get in touch with you.
Thank you, Kristen, for sharing such great insight into the importance of content and sharing it in social media. Now, as a quick reminder, if you have questions, you can submit them into the questions box on your control panel as we go along. And now let's hear from Sarah Baker on the six essential virtual strategies for fundraising in 2021. Sarah?
Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Kristen, for that great information about social media and content. So I just want to dive into what you're going to do with some of your virtual strategies as we carry forward into 2021. So as I'm sure most of you are aware, we are living a lot online these days. We're working online, we're doing school online, we're connecting with our communities online, whether that's a church group or just with your friends who you can't see or your family you can't see at the moment. So having an online and virtual strategy is where you're going to meet your supporters. It's going to make it easy for you to comply with social distancing measures that might still be in place in your community. And of course, allow you to get donors from all across the world. So if your nonprofit is located in Southern California like we are, but you want to reach supporters like Kristen over in Colorado, having a virtual and online strategy is going to allow her to participate as well as me, and maybe even my mom over in Oregon, for example. As we carry on into 2021, we're obviously all keeping our fingers crossed that we'll be able to do more in-person events, but having your virtual events combined as sort of hybrid will again allow you to involve more and more donors, people who aren't necessarily located near you. And like Kristen mentioned earlier, people who might not be comfortable right away diving into in-person events again. If you haven't started having virtual events, just know that the majority of the nonprofits who have been holding these events in 2020 throughout the pandemic have described them as successful. And I think that's another way we can think about having additional revenue streams, is having virtual events in addition to in-person events. So if you're not sure what kind of events and fundraising opportunities there are to do virtually, all you have to think about is all the same things that you would do in person and that you will continue to do in person later on. So if you typically host a gala, make it virtual. If you like to do a run or walk, you can make that virtual. Your day of giving, an auction, a celebration day in your community. You can take competitions online. You can do all the same kinds of things that you would normally do in your community face-to-face and have these events be virtual. What I've seen with a lot of my nonprofits hosting these virtual events is by getting their pages set up far ahead of time, they're able to raise the majority of their funds before they even go live with a virtual event like their gala, by reaching out to people ahead of time, getting them to register, asking them to donate, and just getting them involved in their event even before the actual virtual event, if you will. Just so you know too, we have tons of creative ideas and suggestions for you to look at from other nonprofits that have done this all throughout 2020. So if you're just diving in and you need some examples, there is a link in the presentation that you'll be sent afterward. So let's dive into the strategies themselves. So for your virtual strategy, what do you need to do? You might be familiar with renting out a location for your gala and ordering tables and catering. So what do you do instead? Well, instead of getting that hotel room or ballroom ready, you're going to utilize what we call an event page. So an event page is basically a landing page or a microsite where you can have all of your important campaign details. So this can talk directly about your cause, the impact that donations to this event or your nonprofit in general will have. It can also act as a hub for your ambassadors. So going back to Kristen's point, if Kristen is your ambassador, this is a page that she can share with those 700 Facebook followers to get them to learn about your virtual event or fundraising opportunity. So, she can share that link directly. As I mentioned earlier too, sharing out your event page far ahead of the actual event is a great way to start raising money ahead of time. So for example, if you're holding a virtual gala on St. Patrick's Day in March, I'd probably recommend that you started to share out your event page now, and it can include a countdown to that virtual gala, as well as some fun little short videos talking about what your virtual gala is going to be like, maybe a sampling of the entertainment that you're going to have, or a quick video testimonial from somebody who has benefited from your event. These pieces of content, videos, pictures, text, can all be embedded on this event page that I mentioned. You can start sharing ahead of your event and even after your event. So if people can't make it to your virtual gala on St. Patrick's Day, for example, they can still watch it the week after. So the second virtual strategy that you'll want to start employing is mobile messaging. So again, just thinking about where your donors are. Your donors are on their phone, they're on their computer, they're on their Apple Watch. They're definitely dialed into being virtually and digitally connected. So use mobile messaging to send all this campaign info and updates directly to where your donors are going to see. Our little fun fact is Americans check their phone 96 times per day, once every 10 minutes. And I'd say for me, I'm probably double that. So if you want to get a hold of me, texting is the easiest way for me to see it. So you can share links to things like your event page that you have set up that has all the information about your virtual event. You can share links directly to that great content that you're setting up on social media. So that could be a link to your Facebook page. Like Kristen mentioned, if you're going after younger audiences, maybe a link to your first TikTok video to get your followers to follow you there. Anything that you typically would share in an email, on social media, on your website, you can condense this down into little bite-sized text messages and send those directly to your supporters. So if you have felt a little bit disconnected from your supporters, this is definitely a more intimate way to reconnect with them. You also can use mobile messaging on the other side of things. So having your supporters text in to receive information. So if you run a food pantry, maybe they can text in to see what hours are available, or schedule a time to come pick things up if you're trying to keep things, socially distanced by having people scheduled in certain shifts. If you are hosting an in-person event later on in the year, they can text in to get directions to the ballroom where you're having your gala, or even just text in to get some fun facts and information about your nonprofit or about whatever you happen to be celebrating at that moment. So again, just using St. Patrick's Day as an example, maybe you can have them text in for fun St. Patrick's Day trivia. And so our third strategy ties in directly to mobile messaging, and that's using your mobile phone for text to donate. So text to donate is going to give your donors really easy access to donating to your nonprofit. So giving them a branded, very important, branded keyword or event-specific keyword and short code to text into to go directly to your donation form. Text to donate is really great because, again, it's something that's kind of bite-sized, easy to promote. So that can be promoted on your social media channels like Twitter and Instagram. You can read it in a video or even on a radio advertisement. I've even heard one used on a podcast, for example. So it gives your donors something that's memorable, that's easy for them to do on their phone. So even if they're away from their computer, or they're taking a little Zoom break, they can still donate and participate in your virtual fundraising cause or gala. And something really cool with the text to donate too is it ties directly into that event page that we talked about earlier, where you can have a progress circle that's going to show how much money that you've raised and even highlight and thank donors in real time. So if I'm donating through text to donate, my name can pop up on that event page. So even if I'm not able, again, to watch your virtual event in real time on the day, I can still participate, have my name listed, which can be really great when my friends and family can see that I was part of your cause. So our fourth virtual strategy, something I started to mention earlier, is using videos. So video storytelling is going to typically be the most compelling way for you to tell your story because it's showing a real person. It's a lot more engaging than necessarily reading a really long email newsletter. So I like to grab my donors' attention by creating really short, compelling, and personal videos. So these things don't have to be filmed in a studio with some professional camera. It can be filmed really easily on your iPhone. Again, it can be really short. If you're just going to make a short testimonial and appeal for your nonprofit, it can be like this video that we have, for example, is showing it's like less than 5 minutes long. In the video, with the video, again, you can embed that directly onto your event page so that your event page can be a hybrid of video content, compelling images, text, testimonials, so that whatever way your donors like to receive content, they can find that on your event page. The videos that you create too are really great ways to promote any kind of virtual events you might be having. So again, have your board of directors maybe each create a short little clip of them talking about how they came to be involved with your nonprofit. If your virtual gala is holding or is going to have some kind of musician or some kind of performance, maybe have them send you a video 1 to 3 minutes long of a preview of what that performance is going to look like the night of your virtual event. You can use the video to share fundraising progress. So if you're raising money to build a new park in your community, talk about how much money you've raised, how much you'll be able to accomplish with what you've raised. Maybe you have enough for the slide and the swing set, but you need, X amount more dollars to put in a couple of benches and water fountains, for example. And then again, circling back to that text to donate keyword, this is something that you can read aloud in your video. So if you're creating a video to play the night of your virtual event, read that text to donate keyword. So as people are watching your video, they have a really quick and easy way to donate to you, to get to your donation form without having to put too much thought or effort into it. And when we're talking about getting things to, go viral or at least get in front of a couple more donors, potential donors' eyes, We want to use video. Our stat here mentions that video generates 12,000 more shares than text and image combined. So if you aren't making videos yet, it's time to dust off your iPhone and record something to start promoting your nonprofit. Okay, so our fifth strategy, something also that Kristen mentioned earlier, is peer-to-peer fundraising. So this is where we're going to take advantage of, those friends and family and advocates, our donors, to get them to fundraise on your behalf. So setting up their own page that they can share out directly with their friends and family on their personal social media accounts, through email, with their own unique text to donate keyword. So the really fun thing about peer-to-peer fundraising is you can really utilize it in any way that matches your nonprofit and matches your event. So if your virtual event or later on in-person event has some competitive element to it, you can use the crowdfunding and peer-to-peer as a competition. So people can vote with their dollars for their favorite dancers, their favorite chef, their favorite dog, if you're a dog rescue. And it just kind of adds an extra element that is going to make it a little bit more fun and engaging than just a straightforward donation form, because people can support one specific person, cause, animal that they feel compelled to. What we've seen in the past too, is a lot of nonprofits who are hosting things like virtual galas, where they typically would have their table host style tables to the gala. Instead, they're having their table host have a fundraising page. So instead of saying, you need to sell 8 to 10 tickets to fill this table, your table host can have a goal of $1,000, and they can reach out to their friends and family to donate to them to help support your nonprofit. No one has to get dressed up. No one has to drive anywhere. Just really quick, easy donation on their own personal fundraising page, where they can put their own compelling content like text and videos talking about why they should, why their friends should donate to your nonprofit in their own words. So again, this kind of helps out with that content problem by having your supporters create the content for you. And our last virtual strategy is just talking about understanding your donors. So if you're not really sure if your donors are interested in doing your events virtually, or you're not sure if your donors are interested in things like mobile messaging, you're a little unsure, what I recommend doing is sending out donor surveys. Ask your donors directly, would you attend a virtual event that's going to be held on Zoom or Facebook Live? Are you interested in receiving content by text message or email? Find out what their interests are. Maybe you've never held a run walk, but your donors would love to do a virtual run walk. Well, the only way you can find that out is by asking directly. So MobileCause allows you to create these really quick and easy surveys that you can share in an email, in a text message, on your social media, wherever your donors are. You can get this survey in front of them to find more out about your donors, so that if they aren't on TikTok, don't worry about going on TikTok, but you can only find out by asking them. So again, I just really recommend getting to know your donors to help you hone in that content that Kristen talked about, and take all of your fundraising virtual, even when you can move into in-person events again. Thank you so much. And Scott, if you want to lead into questions, that'd be great.
All right, thank you, Sarah, so much for sharing your expertise with us today. And I know a lot of these online tools and ideas are really going to help a lot of our guests with their fundraising efforts in this new landscape. So thank you again to both Kristen and Sarah for sharing your insights with everyone. And we hope we are all looking forward to incorporating these strategies into your upcoming campaigns. Now, before we jump into the questions, we just wanted to ask a quick question. Are you interested in learning more? So we've got this as a poll, so let me go ahead and share that out. And we'll just have this open for a few seconds here. So get your answers in. All right, looks like the poll is closed. All right, good. So let's go ahead and get into our questions. Now, we did run a little over time today, so we just wanted to ask like one or two questions here, just some of the big ones. So a great question that we have for Kristen. How often should we post on social media, and what is the breakdown of frequency between stories and information versus asks? Kristen?
Thank you so much for that question. So real quickly, the best suggestion that I could give you is posting 2 to 3 times a day, possibly 4 to 5 times a week. Now, you can schedule these posts in advance so you don't have to do it real time. The key is mixing up the content. For example, 9 a.m. is a photo, 12 o'clock is a blog or a news piece. Maybe there's a story happening in your community about food scarcity and you're an organization that deals with that issue. And maybe 4 p.m. you have a video. So mixing up your content is important. But just like relationships, you're not going to ask someone, hey, I'm Kristen, you want to give me some money? However, you want to build that relationship with them. You want to get them engaged. And so you want to sparingly post, hey, here, we have an opportunity for you to donate. So let's make sure that we mix up that content. And when you have great content and showcase how much you need or how much your organization needs their support, that's where the donations will come in.
All right, great. So next question here, we do want to, this last one here for Sarah. And the question is, are virtual events working when everyone is zoomed out?
That's a great question. Like I mentioned, everyone is doing everything online, so that's from work meetings to school. So what I see personally is that people are not zoomed out if they are interested in your cause and you're keeping things, exciting and compelling. So incentivize them to come with things like a live performance or maybe having a chef do a little cooking demonstration or having a bartender show how to make the signature cocktail that you would have served at your in-person gala. I've also seen, super fun incentives like even, prizes and things like that people give away. So if you're worried about people feeling zoomed out, just keep your content, to a nice, concise length. So if you're doing a virtual gala, I'd say keep it to less than an hour, and make sure that you're not doing them super often.
All right, thank you, Sarah. So for sake of our audience's time, if we did run a little bit long, so I do apologize for that. But if you do have questions, we will try to get to those after the session. So we've now come to the conclusion. And so before we leave, if you're interested in discovering how MobileCause can help maximize your fundraising efforts, please fill out our post-webinar survey. Thank you again for attending today, and best of luck in your annual planning. Goodbye, and see you soon.